Hi, everyone, whoever is watching the video or is going to listen to the IKIGAI podcast. Today's guest is so very special. He's from a neighboring country, but guess what? I didn't know Abderrahim either in Tunisia or Algeria, but I knew him online through the Arts and Creativity PLN with TESOL International. And today he's going to be my guest for the IKIGAI podcast. So welcome, Abderrahim. How are you?
Thank you so much, Yousra, for the invite. It's such a pleasure being with you here. I'm very, very excited.
Thank you.
I'm doing well, very happy.
Thank you so much, Abderrahim. So, Abderrahim, can you please tell us a little bit how it all started? So first, who are you so that people would know who is Abderrahim, what is he doing in life? So can you tell us a little bit, please?
Okay, sure. So first, I'm Abderrahim Aitbara, a Berber Algerian, born in Algeria, raised in Algeria. I had my education, 90% of my education in Algeria. So it all started in Algeria, in a big family of four brothers and five sisters. We are a big family. So you can imagine from with two parents but it also like in that family. So this is how it all started. And then my first experience going out of Algeria, living in Algeria. I'm not in Algeria anymore. So in 2016, so almost 26 years in Algeria. So this is all what I built, all who I am now. I'm building on that. So yes, I had my master's degree in psychopedagogy, didactics in Algeria, and I had a chance to teach at the university at the same time as a part-time teacher of linguistics and psychopedagogy. So I'm very interested in everything that is psychology, psychopedagogy, anything that is related to the mind, the mindset, and education and the learning. So all these kind of things. And I have been working with British Council for 4 years in Algeria on English education projects. So you can start putting things together now. So being specialized in education, and my master was about learners with special needs. So my dissertation was about teaching English to students with hearing impairment. So bits of everything. So education, special needs there, and working on English and education projects, where I had a chance to organize 3 biggest ELT British Council conferences in the world in 2014, 15, and 16. So we had a lot of delegations and all the big cheeses of education, like Jeremy Harmer, like all these kind of things in Algeria. So I had an experience in teaching and bits of in administration and education management, managing educational project with the Ministry of National Education. So where it started. So the moment I finished my studies, I had my master's, and then I started thinking where to go to, what's next. So I was like kind of looking for where am I at and where I should be leading to. And here it all started. I said, probably said something in me that I don't like to stand on one stick. So I don't like just to have one thing in my hand. So I don't want to risk and to lose time. So always I'm a person who always like to have like plan A, B, C, and Z. So always I have the different plans. So if any of the plans did not go, so at least I have an alternative. And I always I expect the worst, so I don't get upset when things don't happen. So I get myself ready that what if it doesn't work? So always into that. So once I had a very nice experience in teaching, and I love teaching, and I feel that I'm born to teach. But at the same time, I said teaching is not enough. I need to know how education is run. Mm-hmm. Because education, it's not just the teacher teaching in the classroom. There's a lot of other people, a big other part who is running education, which is administration, managing education. So I need to step into that in order to see education from an outside, to have from a different angle. Yeah, perspective, absolutely. So that I worked 4 years, and then I said, what's next? Okay, I taught I know what is education in the classroom. I know how to manage a project. Now, does education in the local context similar to an overseas context?
Let's just stick to the, sorry to interrupt you. Let's just first,
yes.
I want to focus on the local context first before moving on to
yes.
the international one,
Sure.
because I have a lot of questions. So I will start by the first one, which is, why did you choose that particular master's degree kind of specialty? Why special needs students? Was it a choice? Did you face in your classroom certain times when you wanted to help your students but didn't know how, and you wanted to get more research and further studies in order to know how to apply that to your classroom? So I'm interested to know why that MA in special needs education, please. And thank you.
Absolutely. It happened after a story. So when I had my BA in English and education, the general, and then at that time I was a project assistant at British Council. My job that time was going with experts to different schools in Algeria. So British Council, they bring experts from the UK, go into schools with the Ministry of National Education to give trainings to the teachers and help and evaluate education in the classroom. And I was one of the expert assistants, so like helping them. But I was accompanying them into the classroom. So I was part of that evaluation journey. So in one of the classes, this is what really got me. So we went on a journey to Ouargla. I don't know if you know Ouargla or not. It's in the heart of the Algeria. Algeria is very big. So it's in the Sahara, okay? In the Sahara. We were in a classroom. We went into a normal, without any preparation, not any setup, an ordinary classroom. We went into a classroom, we found a blind student, a student with hearing impairments, physical disability in the classroom, all together in a normal a mainstream classroom with the same teacher, even an assistant in the teacher, with the teacher. And then at the end I was just observing, I said, okay, the knowledge that I know about the classroom that what I brought up and what I taught is different from this context. So at the end of the lesson, we sat with the teacher and we asked the teacher if he has any special education background. Was he trained on that? He said, no, I don't have any. So how are you working on these students? Just figure out, just improvise, just he's doing his best. Then comes to the idea of how can we always look, when it comes, this is what I always advise, it's a message for everyone who wants to work on a dissertation in master's or PhD or whatever. Look to something, work on something authentic and real in life, in the where you live, in your country, in your surrounding, whatever. Work on something authentic that really will help the people where you live. You serve the community where you live. It's not just work. Sometimes you find a PhD title, it's just an abstract. It's something in the air. There would never be something real and authentic. And I said, what if I work, and that just I had my BA, I was going to my first year master's. And I said, what if I work on my master's on something to help this community? So I put all the different possibilities on blind, on deaf, on hearing impairment, physical, and all the stuff. I put a lot of things on the table, and then with my supervisor, you have to have a literature on what you have to do. So there are lots of limitations that let me work on hearing impairments. So how can we help a teacher having a hearing impaired student in the classroom to learn as normal? We don't have special education in Algeria. We have mainstreaming, that everybody is in the classroom. And teachers are not very well equipped and not very well trained to cater the different needs of all different learners. So it's all started from here. And this is what took me 2 years to work on the voice recognition software that we suggested to be implemented in the classrooms, where when the teacher explains, There's a software recognition. Now it is all on smartphones that it recognizes the voice of the teacher and it writes it on the board. So if a student in the classroom can't hear the teacher very well, at least they can read what the teacher is saying.
Yeah, speech to text.
So and yes, so this is what we worked on, and it worked very well. It worked very well, and we said improvement. This is a journey of 2 years, but it all started from a normal classroom observation where I wanted to work on something authentic to help the community.
Did you collaborate with other colleagues on this project, like IT department, or was it like related to the literature? When you did that, linguistically speaking, you were just focusing on that. So, or like,
my major focus was language and linguistics. So the ability to learn the language through. I did not go deeper into IT, but as a linguistic concept. But what I'm interested in, I would love if someone specialized in IT to take that idea and collaborate and incorporate more advanced IT softwares or whatever into the idea. So this is, I don't know whether someone took it further or not, but my focus was on at least the students. Even if the speech recognition does not sometimes pick the whole sentence, but we believe in language that you don't need the whole sentence in order to understand the message. Sometimes missing a subject, but verbal competence is more than enough. So this is what I focused on the language capacity, that we have the student, the message to transmit language as a means of communication, not as a perfect language written. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I got your point.
So,
I have a question related to this, because I like dealing with differentiation and not only students with special needs, because we call them special needs, but if we put ourselves in their shoes, so we can imagine what they feel, and we never want our students to be strange in our classrooms. So my question is, do you think now the advance in AI can help refine your project? Maybe like in the future, do you consider taking this to another level using AI or not?
Absolutely. No, AI is a different, now it's a different world. No, AI is not just something that we can use in order to help students with special needs, but now it's taking the educational setting into a different, like ChatGPT, for example. It's something that is beyond the teacher's ability to control or school, or so now the AI is now pushing us as schools. We have never had a school, speaking about my school now, where I work, we have never thought of one day that we would need to make an AI policy for the school. But this year we ended up, because the world is really advancing. Our students we felt that we are behind our students.
You should catch up. Yes.
We need to catch up. And then we ended up, we have to add to all our school policies an AI policy.
Is it allowed
AI
Is it allowed in your school, in your community, let's say, to use AI to teach? So how do you deal with this with assessment, for example?
Okay, it is a bit a challenge. So AI made us review what the school routines or the school policies when it comes to assessment, for example, to come to education. For example, 2 years back, we used, for example, when we teach writing skills or whatever, so we have the first draft, right, argumentative, persuasive, essay, whatever. So the student has a chance to go home, work on that piece of writing, come to the classroom, defend it, draft, review, and final draft. Yes, because the student is writing, even if a human being is helping, does not affect. But now when it comes to ChatGPT, for example, you can just write for me an essay of 300 words about persuading my father to buy me an iPhone. You will get in 2 seconds a full essay, and you can't even trace it whether it is plagiarized or not. And it is authentic. So this made us now review our policies. Now, all the writing assignments, they have to be done in the classroom and not out of school. In order to guarantee that the student himself is writing the piece of, you see how it is, like the wave of AI is taking us now in order to cope with the changes and the challenges we are having.
Yeah.
I don't mind to use AI, for example. If I'm teaching poetry, a student does not know how to write poetry. I don't mind to use AI to give you a poem. I can give it to the student and say, oh, this is taken from AI. Now for you as a human being, what kind of feelings you can add to this poem? So
Yeah.
it's work. How can you refine it? So
Yeah.
it's something that we can help. It can help, but it's double-edged sword.
It
So
is.
either or.
Mm.
So that's why it puts us as administrations and our schools in a very challenging situation where we need either to cope or to cope. There's no other alternative. You can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can ignore.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I'm sure back to your question, and I'm sure now with AI, more advanced, they can take this into, AI can help a student with an impairment where straightforward translates what the teacher is saying. It can write for you. By the end of the lesson, you will find a Word document written for you for the whole lesson or whatever. I'm just imagining how it works. So it is a very interesting topic that if someone can proceed with it further.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer. And if you allow me to elaborate on what you mentioned for AI, there are now, yes, what we call text classifier AI websites that can detect if a text is written by artificial intelligence or by a human being to a certain extent. So as a teacher, you know your students, you can detect, you can guess if it's written by them or not. But I came across a TED talk, a very recent one, that I have developed into a TED-Ed lesson on the TED-Ed platform. It's for the CEO of Khan Academy. I'm sure you know the Khan Academy.
Yes,
so
sure.
Khan Academy now, they are using AI. They are implementing this. So for every student who is studying part of a self-paced, let's say, activity, so they can have an AI assistant. And they have developed, yeah, I'll send you the link to the video. I've used this to prepare the TED lesson, and I really was impressed by how they use the technique in a good sense. So for every teacher, there will be an AI assistant, and for every student, there will be an AI tutor. And they have elaborated kind of a system, kind of a chat bot. So if the student tries to cheat, hey, like ChatGPT, give me the solution to this answer. No, here is it. I'm not your teacher, so focus on this. So this can be monitored as well by the teachers themselves. So a lot of websites now, they integrate an AI, among them Khan Academy, and it's impressive. That's why I liked your idea so much. And I am sure that it will be an amazing idea if you think more of integrating AI. It's not easy, and it requires collaboration, coding, and all that stuff. And your idea is amazing and humanistic. At the human level, I think a good teacher is someone who does not only take care of their students, like students feel safe in their classroom, but they do adjust the level and the understanding according to their needs. I'm sure you're acquainted with equality and equity, the photo that is famous online. They give one box to the short child and 2 boxes to the other one, and 3. So that is equality if you give them 1 for each. So the short person won't be able to see what's there, the football match. But the others, they will be much more privileged. So equity and equality, they're so very different. And I really admire your project, and best of luck for what is next. And thanks for sharing this idea with us, Abderrahim. And so proud of you, by the way.
Thank you. You're welcome.
What you did. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And my next question is, so we started talking about Algeria and our lovely North Africa. And now, when was that kind of aha moment, or when did you say, like, I need to go try something else elsewhere, or I need a new challenge? So when was that? Can you tell us more about it, please?
That was in 2000, and it started in 2015, 2016. So It started with something within me, that I'm a very curious person, and a person who get bored when I learn something. The first question is, when I master something, I don't just, yay, I know how to do it, and that's and celebrate. I don't just celebrate and relax. For me, it's celebration is a fuel for new journey and new challenge. What comes next? What comes next? What comes next? So it's always, I like to, when I master something, it becomes something boring to me. So once, and then I need a new challenge. So if you go through my career pathway, finished my master's, had my 4 years at British Council, took 2 years at the university, and then I said, it's time now to see how is education, or English language in particular, is taught in different contexts. So I know English is a foreign language in Algeria, so EFL. Working in British Council on L1, first language acquisition. So I said, it's now my high time to know what English is a second language look like. So I started selecting which countries English is a second language. So how to see what are the differences or what are the similarities in the way how we teach English. Teach it as the first language, or as a foreign language, or a second language. So here comes the idea where I had to do my CELTA. I said, let me get my CELTA, the first visa thing in my hand to set me on board. So I had my CELTA in May 2015, straight, and that was the second day after my returning trip from Tunisia. I remember I came back from Tunisia. The next day, I had my.
I didn't know this before.
So that's 2015.
Uh-huh.
So, and then I started looking at the different countries, different English education systems, how English is taught here. We in Algeria, we study the French system. Is there an English system? And I started learning that there is an American system, there's a Canadian system, there's a
IB international system,
Chinese system,
baccalaureate.
IB, for example, which I was not aware of these things. So I started opening my eyes on the international level.
Yeah.
And if I tell you that I prepared my CV, and I sent my CV at midnight Algeria time. At 7 a.m. in the morning, I received an email, and that email is still saved until today. An email written in red. From Saudi Arabia. Okay. Yeah, and in bold and in red. It says, we have received your CV. Please, we are very interested and would like to go further, but could you please confirm to join us in 2 weeks?
Okay.
If you are available in 2 weeks. It was a big challenge for me, and I did not know. You see, when something comes as sudden, I was thinking to move abroad, but now I'm given
not that fast. Yes.
So shall I say yes, or shall I say no? I'm a person who always liked adventures. I'm an adventurous person. I always believe something that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Try it. Who knows? And then I said, yes. This is all what I said in the email. Yes, I am available. And then from that email, there's another email. Let's have an interview. I had a phone interview, sent all the documentation. That took 2 days. I received my visa the third day, and I need to prepare, myself to move to Saudi Arabia. So I moved to Saudi Petroleum Services Polytechnic. And during all that process that day, all these going forward and backward of emails, no one knew about it. Neither my family, nor my friends, no one. It's me. Okay. So it was, and then once I received everything, I still said, is it a joke? Are they kidding? But I have nothing to lose. Let's try
give it a try.
So, and give it a try. So it was a very good try. And then I went to Saudi Arabia, to Saudi Petroleum Services Polytechnic, where I teach technical English. Okay. Mechanical English, piping, welding, all these kind of things. It's an oil and gas. So, and then the question was in the interview, do you have any experience in teaching technical English? I said, sorry, no, I was teaching at the university as a part-time teacher and taught in a school, but I've never had the chance to teach technical, but I'm a quick learner. You show me, I can. So, and then what happened? it was something new to me, but it was a very good experience. So I had 1 year of technical engineering English, so following Oxford coursebook. So, you know, when you are an English teacher, anything that they give you, as long as you understand the concept, it's easy to teach. So it is ESP. So it is a very good experience. It is a plus. So I know what an EFL is, what an L1 is, what an ESP is, but the ESL is still in my head. So I need to move forward. Okay, not just a teacher in the classroom. So I had 1 year in Saudi Arabia, and I said, let me try something else. And then I moved to Kuwait to a high school as a high school teacher and a head of English department. So heading the English department, teaching grade 12. But it's a Common Core state standards curriculum, American system, which I have no clue about.
Yeah.
From Algeria, French system, to British Council, British system, to technical English. And now I said, goodness me, Abderrahim, hold on. It's too much on me. It's too much on me.
You remind me of myself, actually.
And I'm sure you understand me, because I said, it's too much on me. But I said, yes, hit it. Go ahead. Go ahead. There's nothing that I need to waste. So I said, go ahead. And then I came here, and then even in the interview, I was very honest. I have no idea of what Common Core is, but it's not a hinder. I can learn what it is, and it's fine. So it took me about 6 months when I joined for the first time. It took me about 6 months to understand what Common Core is. And guess, after 4 years, I am the curriculum coordinator of all subjects of Common Core state standards.
Oh, bravo. Really,
it's all about determination. It's all about determination. I never thought that after 4 years, I'd become not just English, but science and GSS standards, music, art, PE, social studies, all the other subjects. And I worked on something that is very rare to find in e-school, is the concept mapping, where I put all the subjects in one chart. They are all linked, thematic approach. So the same day, same unit, student in ELA is studying a story about volcanoes. When they go to science, they're studying about volcanoes. In math, they do equations about volcanoes, something. So it is a thematic approach where I rearrange all the units. So, and I did that for my previous school, and I'm happy to do it in my recent school as well that I'm in. So it's all about determination and never give up.
Perseverance.
And never, even when you think, yes, you have to be, you have to be on board. You have to always, anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And as long as we are on earth, as long as we are breathing, we should be as productive
as we can. Yeah, sure. Absolutely right.
So it all starts like this, and here I am now. And still, it's just,
we're lifelong learners, actually. And that's how I knew you. Actually, I was impressed by your profile, and I remember we met at the Arts and Creativity PLN. I still remember how our colleagues introduced you, and I do share the same point of view with you when it comes to, if you want something in life, you should be determined, you should persevere, and also you should set a kind of a plan for you so that you know how to move on from one step to another. For you, it seems to be like it's like by chance you did all this, but no, actually I know that every step is well calculated, even though like it's risky sometimes to try something new, but since you have the willingness to learn. So that's what I always say to anyone who asks me, this is a new challenge for you, are you acquainted with such and such system? So I always tell them, you hire the character and you train the skill. So it's the same thing. And when it comes to the subjects you talked about, if you know how it functions well, so if you know the dynamics of how it's taught in a particular subject, it's the whole theoretical approach that goes with that, kind of. And there's an interconnectivity. For example, we encourage teachers, like coordinators or teachers, to collaborate for example, a math teacher can collaborate with a language teacher to work on a project. So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
a science teacher with a PE teacher. So it doesn't go in kind of compartments. So this is it. This is the box and it goes that way, you know. So there is a kind of interconnectivity for a student who attends a class from 9 to 10, talking about something related to science and water and something else. So he or she, when he goes to the following class, should normally know how to use that piece of information, if not in class, in daily life. So I think that is the purpose of education. It's not like infusion of information and that's an input without any purpose. And since we're talking about purpose, and I'm going to ask you about your life purpose. And you've been through the IKIGAI journey by yourself, and now I'm interested to know, did you come across anything maybe striking for you when it comes to Abderrahim? So I know Abderrahim has been keen on teaching and teacher training, and but did you recognize something new maybe in your personality? Or not?
Absolutely. I just want to I just want to look at the pull out my Ikigai thing that what I like it is true. It says my personality is persuasive organizer. That's true. And as well, when it comes to my profession is being responsible for a project, making decisions and inspiring people to be a part of the team. And absolutely, this interprets exactly what my current work that I'm
what
doing.
You're doing now.
Is yes, absolutely. So as if it really interprets, puts in words exactly who you are now. This is what I liked about this. And my purpose in life is, in two words, is sharing. We are born to share. Okay. So the first of all is sharing. We need to share as much because we get back as much as we share. This is the rule. Yeah. Okay. You don't share, you don't get. There's no one who can learn alone. Okay. So sharing without don't count, you will get endless support. Okay. The second thing is that never fear change. The opposite. Change is an open door. Sometimes when you open the door, sometimes it is dark, but just take one step forward, you will see light. So don't stop at any darkness you see or any of the first problem you face. Do not stop. Move on. What is the end of it? Dying? I better die trying than dying in bed.
And then regret not trying. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
You're telling me, because we lose a myriad of opportunities in life due to the fear of change. That's why I always with my team now, I always like to take teachers from that comfort zone. So if a teacher, and what I learned is, before I move on, what I learned from the diplomatic life, because I worked in British Council, and British Council is part of British Embassy. So we had the courses on diplomacy, and what I learned from diplomacy is never stay doing one thing, one job for more than 4 years. The way how it is divided is, the first year is the year of learning. So when you are hired, there's no employer can judge you for the first year. It's your learning year.
Yeah, sure.
The second year is the second of connecting what you learned, your own experience, so you start planning. So it's a year of planning, scheduling, creating with the knowledge and what you learned. The third year is the year of productivity. Now you produce. I need to see results. You did this, you achieved this, you did that, you changed that. And the fourth year is the year of mastery. And the year to exit your achievement is the year to celebrate. You refine your productions. You master it. After the 4 year, maximum to 5 years, is the year you have to move on to something else. Look at presidency elections. There's no presidency election that stays more than 5 years, 4 years. Ambassadors in any place in the world, there's no ambassador who can stay more than 4 years. So all these, I learned from that. I said, let me apply that on my own life. So all my journeys is 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, 4 years. So 4 years British Council, 4 years as head of English department, and the other 2 years is as a curriculum coordinator. So it moves on. Like I learned that from a diplomatic life. So because I believe, I don't want to sound judgmental, but I believe that any work we do, if we stay more than 5 years, it becomes, you feel you are in the your zone of comfort. Feel relaxed.
Routine.
You're repeating the same thing. But because I believe there's nothing there's no more creativity than after 5 years, or it becomes, you go into that routine. And I hate that routine, to be honest. I don't want to be in that routine. So whenever I celebrate something, as I mentioned earlier, I celebrate it, I achieved it, it's time to say goodbye, something to move on.
Just to elaborate on this, so you can stay in the same place for more than 4 years, but you can take another challenge. So that does not mean that we're gonna be in a different place every 4 years. It's exhausting. And but I think taking on a new challenge once in a while would be amazing, so that we can learn. So it's like a
thank you for making that clear.
Yeah, for a restart to something new. And yeah.
True. So thank you for making that clear for everyone, that I don't mean that I have to leave the building, the premises, or leave the country. No, it's leaving that zone of comfort of that task that I mastered. It's time now. If I was a teacher, let me take one step forward, like a lead teacher into a supervisor, a coordinator. It's just in education, for example, context. If I am in management or whatever, as an assistant and a coordinator, a manager, try to grow, show growth, and take new challenges. So don't be afraid of new challenges, embrace them. And in order to move on and to grow. Thank you so much, yes, for
clarifying this,
clarifying that. Otherwise, people say every 4 years I have to change a place. No, you don't need.
No one is going to hire us.
Everything.
No,
that it's yes, you have to grow. That's the growth that I mean.
Yeah, okay. Growth mindset. So, thanks for that. I believe absolutely in growth mindset. You know, it's not just a word; it's a way of life. It's going out of the comfort zone, because you can't learn if you feel comfortable every time. If you don't face, like, you know, kind of new challenges, if you can just be a good swimmer if you just stare at the shore and you stay there and you don't just take the effort to swim. So I guess there's a proverb in French. I'll allow myself to use French today. So c'est en forgeant qu'on devient forgeron. So it's like while doing this, so we can learn how it's done. So we can just stare at it. Oh, it looks beautiful, but how can I do that? So I guess you got my point, right? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Is all about go ahead, go ahead. And this is, and I think even if taking religion into consideration, take the life lessons, it's always work, and move forward.
Yeah.
There's no time to look at what other people are doing or judging other people or just complaining about situations.
Yeah.
If I stay just complaining about our societies, where we are born or where we're brought up or whatever, just criticizing, I'll be sitting now still in a cafe, having my coffee and criticizing the government. You see what I mean? So, but complaining does not make solutions. It doesn't find solutions as well. So the solution is move on. What can you do as an individual? How can you as an individual impact the society? How can you together within that society improve and move forward with your country, with your community?
Oh, you got me into asking two questions now. One related to society, but the first one is related to you, Abderrahim, as a person. So now I want you to reflect on this question, and you can take your time before answering this question. Do you consider now, Abderrahim, that you have achieved, let's say, your dream life or your purpose of life, let's say, since we're talking about IKIGAI and the word IKIGAI? The young 4-year-old Abderrahim, I'm sure he's very proud of the version that you are now, Abderrahim, for all the achievements. You should be proud of yourself for this. So But do you think that you have achieved, or there are still, I'm sure that there are still things to be achieved, but when it comes to purpose of life, so do you consider yourself working the thing you want to do in your life? When it comes to social life, like, do you manage to kind of have that harmony between professional life and personal life? So I'm interested to know more about this, Abderrahim. Can you tell us more about this?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
But I would like to start with, I read the proverb. I can't remember the exact wording of the proverb, but I can give you I can't remember who said it as well. Who says, the dream of yesterday is the routine of today.
Uh-huh.
That the things that we used to dream like 4 years back, I want to be a curriculum coordinator. That's my dream. And today is my daily routine.
Mm.
And now I want to be, for example, whatever, an expert, but tomorrow it will be a routine. The same thing, everyone. So the things we dream, once we achieve them, we don't feel it becomes our routine.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that dream becomes a routine, that triggers a new dream and move forward. I think to answer the question whether you achieved your dreams are never, the word as a dream, it changes
Purpose.
every single time.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, the purpose of that, yeah, it changes every single time. So we are chasing that dream every single time. So whenever like stairs, we climb.
Yeah.
First floor, now it becomes the base. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's to achieve the second floor.
Yeah.
So, but what I can say is, I am at the stage where I don't need to prove myself the same way I used to do before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this comes by experience and by age and when we move on. Like, for example, I used to, for example, you have to justify that I am good at this. You have to do a lot of effort. But now that it is less, because somehow your career or your background or your skills speak louder than you. So that's a bit, it is an ease. Like when it comes to any a task, for example, new tasks to do, I don't need to go and thrive and say, yes, I can do that.
No, you don't have
I can
to.
just say yes.
You know,
see, so gaining trust of people, gaining the trust of people as well. So this is what makes you more comfortable the more we grow. And this is what we call experience.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, adding to the repertoire. So the more your repertoire is full,
diverse
the less,
and full.
yes. So, but to achieve, there are lots of things that we still need to achieve. But what I feel is I'm very comfortable, like to move forward, I'm comfortable to move forward.
Do you define yourself like not necessarily on a daily basis, like defy kind of not on the basic like definition and connotation of a challenge, but have you ever tried or thought even for a second to make a career shift or try something other than what you're doing now, like drawing, like painting, like being a singer, I don't know, something related to arts, sports, being a sports coach? Like did it even cross your mind for a while like this? No, never, honestly.
Interesting. About 8 months ago,
Okay.
I put on Facebook, something weird idea came to my mind. And I said, once we grow, we finish our studies, everyone is specialized in the field you are. If you change career, probably 10 degrees from teaching to administration, from administration to management, 10 degrees. But I said, I put the post on Facebook just for the people to answer and see what their feedback is. I said, is it possible at this stage? I am a teacher. Can I be a doctor?
No.
In medicine?
No. I'm not talking about that.
In medicine?
Something easy peasy, like something you can learn it with a training, something like coaching, you know. Yeah.
This is adding to your question, that how weird question came in. So, and one of the answers said, yes, there's nothing, it's all about learning. Probably it takes you one workshop to be a trainer in education. It takes you another 7 years to be a doctor in medicine or whatever. So it's all a question about learning. It's not a question about, are you able to change career? Changing career is learning.
Willingness. Are you willing to, like, to leave?
And how much? Yes.
kind of calm sea to towards an ocean, and towards like uncertainty, you know nothing about it, and let's just try this like new experience without even thinking about it. So did it cross your mind?
It is risk taking. So
Yeah.
for me at this stage, like I saw education from an administrative purposes, and I saw education in the classroom, practical teaching in the classroom. And now I am on a stage where I am a curriculum coordinator, where coordinating the subject. Where I'm behind now. I am going through the assessment. I look at the written curriculum, what is taught in the classroom, what is assessed. So now it is another stage that I can see education not in the classroom but beyond, from the window. So I monitor. It's a monitoring situation now. So I'm always willing, and I give conferences as well, workshops in different conferences as well. So I like training, I like coaching. So all of these things, that sharing, back to sharing. So the more you share, the more you get. But I love the field of education. The field of education is really wide. It's not narrow. So if just to move from one phase to another phase, or from one station to another station within education, probably it takes 2, 3, 4 years. So it is a vast universe in order, if you want to go through in education. So if I want to move or change paths, or like, I will be stay in education, because I believe that the success of any nation, of any community, it lies in the education. And I feel that we are responsible as educators, and the future of our countries, our communities, in our hands. Because what we educate today is the leaders of tomorrow. So if we are building the future of our communities, we are building that. We are the responsible. If we be having tyrants in 30 years, it's us who created them. If we want peace in 30 years, it's us who need to work on that. So I think that's why teaching or education is amongst the top most difficult works in the world. It's a big responsibility. It's not just an easy job. Not anyone who has a BA or an MA or PhD, I go to the classroom. I'm back to what you said earlier, that teaching is beyond that I'm getting a salary. It's beyond that I finished my course book, or I finished my curriculum. Is what impact I left in that student. After 10 years, I receive a message from a student saying, I still remember you.
And thank you.
You left an impact. And thank you. So this is the impact, is beyond than the salary we get on a monthly basis.
Sure, definitely agree with you. So there's another, it's not a proverb, but it's a saying that goes, we teach for the, not for the income, but we teach for the outcome. So as teachers, our outcome is the success of our students and trainees. So we feel if they're successful in their path, and you know, it's part of our success. Now, for example, on LinkedIn, I notice sometimes some suggestions on the feed, like, let's say, and some of them, they're my former students, and once in a while I just come across, so those who send me and those who don't. So because, you know, they have the second network and the third network, so you know that how it goes. And I've noticed few of them that manager, teacher elsewhere. So, and that puts a smile on my face, so that I know that mission accomplished. And some of them, and when it comes to English, they were hesitant towards even pursuing studies in English, because what I was teaching them, they were studying EFL, but that in their context, it was ESL. So the challenge was to navigate from that part to the second kind of approach. And now, after seeing their profiles, and some of them, they reach out. They reach out either for a letter of recommendation, or they reach out just to say thank you and Eid Mabruk or Ramadan Mabruk, or just happy birthday for those who remember that. So it makes us really proud of them. It makes us really feel that we were a part of their lives. And I think you still remember some of your prior teachers and the good ones that they have put in you that flame for Abderrahim to be like a very motivated professional today. For me, for example, I still remember teachers who encouraged me to go outside of my comfort zone. And those who used the right technique and those sometimes did not use the right one simply because we need understanding to let's say to the personality of the student. So if the person is not speaking, for example, in class, so that same case for our students, does not mean that they're not interested or they don't know the answer. It's for us to know how to plan our class so that we can get them involved into the activity. And thanks for bringing your experience here on the table to tell us more about the special needs students. And I'm interested to know, Abderrahim, now I'm asking you more specific questions about your classroom practice. I like to ask you like the funniest lesson you have taught. Because I'm someone who likes sense of humor. I'm sorry for my audience and whoever is listening to me. The funniest lesson or funniest, let's say, or maybe an anecdote you can tell, something fun that happened in class and you still remember this. Can you tell us, please? Oh, you can take your time to think about this. Yeah.
The experience, the funniest and awkward situation that happened to me, and I will never forget that, was my first year teaching, my first day going into a classroom. So I was about 22 years old, so fresh, new, young, and it was my first day to go and teach in the classroom as an assistant at the university. So I was 22, 23 because I just had my BA. So I was working on started my master's. So, and I'm among the top 10. So I give us a chance to teach because there's a short staff in the university. So we are helping the department. And I entered the classroom like students, and then 80 students in the classroom in the university. I had 80, and then everybody was sitting on the desk, university style, like girls and boys, and everybody shouting in the classroom, sitting at the end of the classroom, and no one even gave attention to me. No one even looked. They thought a student, and I went and I stood inside in the classroom, and I was looking at them and said, "Why are you looking at us?" I said, "Sorry, can I have my desk?" And I said, "Who are you?" They started laughing. And I said, "I am your teacher." And one of the teachers said, "Seriously, are you? Please take a seat with us." I thought, I'm just joking.
Same thing happened to me. I'll tell you about my story. Yeah.
So, and then I said, okay, collect your charisma, collect your control,
your dignity,
self-esteem. Yeah, your dignity. You have to show that you are a teacher. So yes, I'm finding that. And then I said, yes, I am your teacher. So, and then everybody was sitting like, you see that the silence that comes after a storm, when the storm passes, there is calm and silence in the classroom. And everybody's looking and say, what is the first word that he's going to say? Is he the teacher or not? There is always, I will never forget that. But it was such an experience that, true, sometimes we judge by age, but I made it and I learned from that. And I had a very good relationship with those students till today. So that was my first experience ever in the classroom, being a teacher.
Mine is really close, very close and similar to yours. So I started teaching in 2009. At that time, I was preparing my MA dissertation, and I had more time. So I said, why not use it to be a part-time teacher? So I applied to teach at a private university. I was accepted, and here you go, you can start. So I still remember that the classrooms were locked using a key, and that we have to collect the CD players and the key so that we can go to class. So, but at that time, I found the class really open, and I was looking for the key, but I just got the CD player and I got into the class. And when I was there, just like you said, so they were just having fun. Some of them were sitting on the desk. So, and they were just chatting, having fun, break time. And then I was carrying the CD player and just put it on my desk, and they were not sitting on my desk. And then I just put my bag And they didn't stop talking. So no, Yousra, they didn't recognize that you're a teacher. So okay. So I heard someone saying, "What are you doing there? That's the teacher's desk." And then I didn't reply anything. And then I put my stuff
Charismatic.
there. No, I'm just cool. I just put everything. So then they said, "No way, she's the teacher. Oh my God, she's so very young." Okay, and then I started, "Good morning, everyone. I'm your new English language teacher today." And and then I started my lesson. I still remember some of the students, they were so impressed. They didn't even want to open the book. They were just sitting like this. "She's the teacher," you know. They were like same story, but I really laughed so loud at that, and so kind of now I'm telling this story and I'm laughing. And but at that time, you know, and they didn't really maybe got the point that they can be in the same place another day. So it's not about the age, but it's about competence. So and you know, with that
True.
experience, I knew exactly that I wanted to be a teacher, because actually that was not what I wanted to do like previously.
Wow.
In 2009, yeah, I wanted to be an interpreter, something related to English, diplomacy, something else, you know, nothing related to cultural studies, because that's partly I'm majoring in cross-cultural studies in English.
Great.
So I like poetry and literature and everything related to that. So not to daydreaming, but I like that part. So teaching that, maybe, okay. So I gave it a try. I was teaching business English, by the way, nothing related to what I was studying. But that year it made me think more of becoming a teacher. And here I am now after 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. And another funniest experience that happened to me is sometimes not anything that we learn, we think it's true. It's true from the other side. It's like a cube faces. So I was in the classroom. That was here in Kuwait. So I was in the classroom teaching teaching domestic animals and dangerous animals. So my question is, what do you know about domestic animals or pets? So like I was expecting an answer like a cat, a dog, the animals that live with us at home. And dangerous are those who live in the forest or jungle and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. One of the students raised his
I have a tiger.
And he said, "Yes, I have a cheetah." He said, I said, "Domestic animals, cheetah." I said, "No. It's not domestic. That's dangerous. That should be in the jungle." It's like, no. A cheetah lives at home.
I can show you photos.
Said, "Come on, it's not. It's in the jungle." He said, "Teacher, do you alone because we can't use mobiles in the classroom? Yeah. Teacher, can I show you a video?"
A video, okay,
and he said,
not
"Yes,
a photo."
the video. No, a video. He brought me a video playing with his cheetah in his living room. And I said, and at that moment, I realized, I said, not all the knowledge we think is true. It's not always true. So that was the most surprising. I said, "You're right. A cheetah is a pet. It's not a dangerous animal."
Yeah. Do you know something? Like while I was in Thailand, they actually do call them big cats. They're classified among the kind of cats, the whole family, and they call tigers and lions big cats. So they're pets.
So this is what I love.
Abderrahim, you don't want them to be cats?
Absolutely. So a student taught me something. So this is what I love about the diversity. I believe that it's like the ancient English proverb that says, "A frog in well does not know the big oceans." If that frog does not step out of that well, you can't know the big oceans and the different. Sometimes we take things for granted, and there are some things that we believe because within our context is true. It's not always true. See the world. So this is what I love about different cultures and the diversity, and it's beautiful.
It is actually, that's something nice about working abroad and traveling abroad. So you can learn a lot about the culture, and you say that you know little maybe about it since you don't live there. So going for like as a tourist there is something, and living in that country is something else. You know, only when you live there so you can get the full experience. Yes, Abderrahim.
And trust me, Yousra, it's not just a question of I have to leave my country in order to live in another country in order to gain this. What you are doing from your bedroom or your living room is overseas. You see what I mean? So sometimes gaining this experience, it's not just moving physically, it's being exposed to the world.
Of course.
Open yourself.
Tell me about it.
Open yourself.
Tell me about it. Yeah, we're here now. I'm in Tunis and you were there, and we're talking about
so
using
now
technology.
The idea of absolutely. So no, the idea of moving physically to a country, another country to gain experience, it's old-fashioned,
outdated.
Now. You can serve the whole world from your bed.
Of course.
So, and this is what I feel sorry for this generation, that they have all the tools connected on 24 out of 24, but they don't use that technology for that connections, for creating, for cultural discovery, like being part of that universal community.
They do, Abderrahim. They are, you know, but maybe not the way we see them. They should be doing it, maybe, but I've been teaching like within international context, and you know, during the COVID, most specifically, you know, all the museums that we can get access to, we got into virtual tours while being in class.
True.
And everyone is in lockdown, you know, with my students. We visited Turkey, we visited France, Louvre, we visited plenty of countries and museums, especially while being at home. And so now I think technology makes things easy for everyone to learn. It's the ability. Not the ability, it's like willingness to learn now is what makes the difference between someone who wants to learn or not, because we want to learn as lifelong learners, but there are maybe for some students, not students, let's say for young age, young teenagers, let's say, and young learners, sometimes everything, you know, if you have a table which is fully furnished and everything's provided for you, sometimes you won't get into eating. You say, no, this is too much for me. You know, the kind of abundance that you see.
Everything for granted.
Yeah, everything. And once it disappears. So in our case, I remember like doing research in the library using the, you know, the old fashioned kind of.
Same.
Yeah. And once I heard about something called Google, you know, I started looking for everything, a definition to everything, that's something that I can't find in a dictionary. So I think our generation is even though we're like, our generation and now the new generation,
it's not that far.
It's not. But for us, it's like we do appreciate what we have. For the now.
True.
For the new generation, they're taking for granted whatever they're doing, but not all of them. I came across some students who really invented things in the like video games, and they're experimenting, and they're I learned from my students actually. No, miss, that doesn't happen this way. Look, I'm going to show you. So, and I think that the new generation will get us farther into whatever now we're learning, and we're catching up. We should.
Yes, true.
So the question now related to, I told you to have two questions, but we got into talking about jokes and anecdotes. The collective level of Abderrahim. So Abderrahim is like part of a community, locally, nationally, internationally. What did you bring as, let's say, an added value as a person and as a professional to your community, Abderrahim?
I believe, and I think I mentioned this earlier, that no one can live alone. And when it comes to education, there is no teacher-proof curriculum. There is no teacher-proof strategy. There's no teacher-proof best way. That's why we don't call this is the best teacher or this is. It's different ways of teaching. That's why in our field, education, we can only live in a community of educators. A teacher who lives in isolation cannot go further. Yeah. Because it's all about learning from different scenarios. What is education? Is you tell me the scenario in the classroom, that probably a similar scenario happens to me. How did you act to that? I will learn from that how I can adopt and adapt so I can use in my classroom.
Absolutely.
So it is all about sharing, being being open to adopt new ideas,
Sure.
being able and have the filters
Yeah.
to adapt what you take. I don't just copy paste what I learned
Sure.
or what I took from the others. It doesn't work, because what works in a specific classroom not necessarily will work in my classroom. But a similar scenario that I can learn from yours can help me respond to my own scenarios. So, and this cannot happen from
without
one side.
Collaboration.
Second part. Collaboration. And I think now, thanks to technology, and I mean, if I go 5 years back, conferences you have to move physically. I had to go to IATAFL UK. I had to travel to Harrogate. I had to go to Morocco, to Marrakesh for an ELT conference. I came to Tunisia to attend an ELT conference. I had to go to Istanbul physically. But now with technology, I gave more than
just
10, 15 conferences. They are just from a click. You see what I mean? It's just from a click. From my bedroom, I gave a workshop in a conference, and I got a certificate for that.
All of us,
So it's again, I think the most important word ever said in this whole conversation from you is willingness. Willing to share. Willing to learn. You see what I mean? So willingness is the key. So, and this cannot, and nowadays a lot of community, educational communities, there are lots. You can't be in all of them
at the same time.
We have
for sure.
TESOL Kuwait, TESOL Gulf,
TEFL Kuwait,
Arabia, TEFL Kuwait, TEFL International, TESOL
Tunisia, TESOL, Algeria. What are the associations in Algeria?
There's an ELT association. So there are plenty. It's not about the quantity.
Sure,
I am
quality.
here and I am there. I am there.
No.
It's about the quality of what you're learning and what you're sharing in that community. It can be in one community
and be impactful.
This is what you're sharing.
Exactly.
Yes. Being active, being impactful. We're not looking for you have to be a superstar or a genie, to come up with a wonderful strategies.
No.
Share your simple classroom strategies
and be yourself. And be yourself.
And be yourself. And be yourself. And being open to help. Even if till today, sometimes I receive messages on LinkedIn, messages on Facebook, or sometimes emails from people who I don't know, saying, "Could you please? I want to do this lesson from your own experience. How am I going to approach it?" People I've never knew before. But they are colleagues. Share.
Same. I've received requests, just like you said, from colleagues here in Tunisia and abroad, asking me to observe their lessons online. And that's absolutely something we can do, and it will not cost me anything. But at the expense of that, another colleague will get feedback and feed forward. I do really believe in feed forward, because feedback is always backwards. So feed forward, what should be done next? What is the solution? And we do exchange, and we do talk about teaching practice. And actually, that's what is meant from ELT events. It's not, there is no one star, all those ELT communities that you mentioned, they only work through their leaders and collective leadership and leading by example. So everyone is being true to himself or herself, and we work in collaboration. So everyone is bringing his knowledge, her knowledge with her. So we're just collaborating on what we know. If we don't know something, there's a gap, we learn it together. So actually, I think as an ELT professional, that's how it goes, and how things should be done is that we collaborate so that we achieve, let's say, and not only an impact in a community, because look, for us, something that can be really normal, for other countries, that is really an achievement. So especially countries that they lack logistics and internet connection, and even books or a rooftop for a school, we should be aware of this while we network on with ELT events. For us, something should be obvious or is obvious, and for others, it's absolutely not. And so if we talk about internet and chat GPT to someone who lives in a country that don't have a course book, so I think it's frustrating for them. So what we have to do is we collaborate, all of us. So for example, if our school, your school has books that we no longer use, we can donate. What else? So it's apart from teaching and training and the basic needs, you know, here I'm talking about Maslow and blooming, you know, they can't bloom if they don't Maslow. So the self-actualization is that if they feel they have achieved the basic needs, they can excel afterwards. Yeah. But
True, I agree.
So I still have the last kind of surprise. Not you know, it's not a question actually, as long as it is. I would like to know more about Abderrahim as let's say a creative mind. Abderrahim is a creative mind. Where do you put all your creativity in life? Let's say, do you like writing, sports? So I'm someone who's always interested in asking those types of questions. So apart from teaching, what do you usually do in your free time apart from quality time with family? Yeah.
Yes, I'm a sports person. So I love either you find me in the gym or you find me in the swimming pool. So I'm a frog. So either swimming pool or, you know, we come from the Mediterranean Sea. So all of the Mediterranean people are
I know.
into the sea.
Yeah.
So into the gym or handcrafts. So I do handcrafts.
What type of?
So like paper
arts?
mache, like I do stuff like when I used to do like beading and all those kind of bracelets and give them as gifts for people. I do what is it called, decor stuff. I do but usually is the paper mache is you recycling newspapers and making like other stuff with that. So I do, like, I'm painting and vernishing, so these kind of things. So yes, either you find me in the gym or in the swimming pool, or you find me doing the my handcrafts.
Same, you know, and without my morning walk, I won't be the person that can really
Nice.
give that let's say the positive thoughts that we all need together, like be it for ourselves or for people around us. So that was really amazing as a talk, Abderrahim, and I really enjoyed it with you. And thank you very much for being my guest today. And Abderrahim, you're from Algeria and I'm from Tunisia. We should meet soon in any ELT event. So don't tell me more about this.
Sure.
Okay.
With pleasure. With pleasure.
Inshallah.
Thank you for the invite and good
Thank
luck.
you.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you, Abderrahim. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. And bye, everyone, to whoever is listening to us. That was the end of our IKIGAI podcast. Bye-bye, everyone.